I would now like to call on stage our chief guest for the evening, Dr. Mukund Rajan.
Thank you very much. So first of all, my congratulations to Vikas and the team at Sundaram Alternates for the launch of the Family Office report. Some of you may be aware, my wife runs a multifamily office, so I'm very keen to see what's in the report. I'm assuming that sustainability and ESG is going to be one of the elements that does find some reflection in the report, because it is becoming, I think, quite important for families, and particularly many family offices such as yourselves who are quite concerned about the next generation and the kind of quality of life that they will have in the years to come. So what I'm going to do in the presentation today is really cover the key trends that we are seeing with ESG and try and persuade you that the subject is very relevant to Indian businesses, notwithstanding what you might occasionally hear from some markets, including the United States, and some politicians, including a certain gentleman who is standing to be President of the United States. So by way of quick introduction, eCube, the firm that I chair, has a mission to assist Indian businesses in navigating the ESG and climate transitions through support in the form of consulting, capacity building, capital and related solutions. And in pursuit of this mission, we work very closely with one of the Indian industry associations, FICCI, the Federation of Indian Chambers of Commerce and Industry. We are the knowledge and implementation partner for their new Center for Sustainability Leadership. Now, my presentation today is structured in three parts: the international context, the Indian context, and the response of corporate India. So we'll start with the international context. And clearly, ESG is a term that has entered the lexicon across the world in quite a big way, I'd say, over the past 4 to 5 years. Though in point of fact, this acronym was actually crafted almost 2 decades back. So the question is, what is driving this new interest in ESG? My take is that we are seeing the convergence of several factors. On the environmental dimension, the E of ESG, I'd say that the COVID pandemic and the growing frequency of extreme climatic events caused by global warming, accompanied by much better scientific information we all possess now, have really opened the eyes of all stakeholders to the risks that you run when the balance with nature is upset. Climate change, particularly, and we've seen that over the past year with the number of extreme climatic events across the world, is stoking considerable anxiety within communities all across the globe and is catalyzing a string of net zero carbon emission commitments from many large enterprises. On the social dimension, the S of ESG, there are concerns around questions of human rights and freedom of choice, including on issues of gender and sexual orientation. There are also concerns about growing inequality and the associated potential for social unrest. And of course, for many of us sitting in this room, this was brought into sharp relief during the first COVID lockdown, which precipitated the migrant labor crisis. With public transport shut down, you had families, many families, migrant families across the country, trudging literally hundreds of kilometers, trying to find their way home from some of India's wealthiest cities. Finally, on the governance dimension, the G of ESG, stakeholders are anxious to see stronger and more empathetic leadership at a time when crises seem to be occurring more frequently. A time when, as the UN Secretary General put it, and I quote, "Our world is at a crossroads and our planet is in the crosshairs." So within this context of more informed interest and heightened anxiety, ESG is seen to matter because it critically influences the sustainable growth of businesses, the resilience built into their business operations, which allows them to navigate black swan events like COVID and to tackle other risks that lie ahead, as well as the ability to seize new opportunities.